Ladies and gents, we're going to go live. Sorry, I'm on a bit of a funny angle here down on the bucket list. Super excited about today's show, guys. We've got Sheena in the background. We're just going to go live in about a minute or two. So we've got an awesome show planned today. So you're very excited about today's show. We've got a good mate of mine, Tom Cartwright. Who else are we bringing in, Sheena? Stefano. So what are we talking about with Stefano?
Organizational psychologist, and we're going to talk about the ketone diet, and he's going to show us how to bring happiness and more energy and more mental clarity into our lives, and I'm so excited.
Let's do this, guys. Let's go online.
Such a gorgeous day, guys, today. Ooh, it's like summer is coming.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start standing from now on because when I sit down on the chair, I'm too short.
Oh, okay.
And I know that. I know that for now on.
I like you.
And I've got my 9-inch heels on, too. Yeah. Let's roll.
3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live down on Bondi Radio. Oh, there we go. We're live down on Bondi Radio.
Do it again, buddy. Do it again. We're getting good.
Do it again. Can I just go? I'll go straight into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Weekend Wellness Radio Show. This is Liam Zollo, your host, and I'm with my beautiful, awesome, stunning co-host, Sheena Alexandra. How you going today, Sheena?
I'm doing so well. Thank you, Liam, for that wonderful introduction.
No problem. I was doing the whole introduction really passionately. I wanted to get it right today. I was so focused on getting it right that I forgot to put the mics up.
That's okay. That's fine.
We got there.
Yeah, we got there. We always get there.
We always get there in the end. We always get there with flying colours and better than how we expect.
So before we start, did you press all the knobs properly? And are we recording? And
yeah. Well, I think so. You keep talking, and I'll see if we're all good.
Okay. So. Well, I'm just gonna have to start today by saying I come in peace. I come in peace. I don't mean any harm. Mm-hmm. I don't want to piss anyone off. Mm. But unfortunately, this week, I've lost 2 Facebook friends.
Oh, you lost Facebook friends?
Yes, I lost 2.
Good riddance.
Oh.
Get rid of them.
I mean, it's never fun being cold. It's never fun being cold. But when it's just so obvious and blatantly in your face over something that is really, silly, I just want to say, let's reiterate why we're here, Liam, and
Yeah, well, I mean, we're here to make a positive difference. I mean, our tagline is education, wellness, quality wellness, education, and entertainment to help you build more of a confident, fearless, inspired version of yourself. Yeah. So we're here to really give you that fearless attitude and that inspired attitude through a bit of education and entertainment. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. So, and some of our opinions are not going to gel with each other and with the audience.
As a manager, I'm a manager at Fitness First now. I realise that you can't keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
If you like by everyone, you're not doing your job right. So if we're challenged by people and people are not liking what we do, I guess that's a good thing. They're questioning what we're doing, and we're questioning what bigger organisations doing, and that's what we're trying to promote.
Absolutely. We come in peace, but we do ask questions, and we don't listen to everything that's being told to us.
Exactly right.
Because we've been burned once, twice, maybe 3 times.
Oh, if not 1,000. So let's talk about what happened then. Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean we can. I mean, so another holistic death has happened, and I've posted this on Facebook earlier this week. Now, I mean, I don't know if these are related. I have no idea. All I know is that they keep happening, and they've been happening over the past 2 years, and not very many people know about it. And it's now starting to go, quote unquote, mainstream. People are starting to see. I don't even know if they're seeing there's a connection, but people are starting to talk about this connection, and it's causing a big stir about. Yeah. We went off in tangents. Well, first I just said, I posted the post and I said another death, and then I also posted something about Justine, like the cop, from Minneapolis.
It got heated on that Facebook, didn't it?
Yeah.
Let me just paint the picture on here. I got tagged in a post by Sheena about this another holistic doctor that died, and I haven't even had a chance to look at the article because the amount of people that were commenting on that post. That's all I kept focusing on. It just kept going back and forth. and I was reading all the posts, getting so in depth, and then for everyone, I think, well, not everyone, everyone who was in the post, a couple of people started to, just felt like they just wanted to assert their ego, and as opposed to just looking at the underlying motive. And I jumped in. I had your back, Sheena.
You totally had my back.
I had your back.
And you know what? It was such a good response because you were just challenging the status quo. You were just, right. There's no right, there's no wrong. We're asking questions, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, I mean, the guy was just there was one person on there that was.
He was a friend from high school.
Oh, was he a friend from high school?
This is a high school friend.
I thought he was just a troll.
No, this is a high school friend I've known for over 20 years. And,
that's a silly
I mean,
thing.
I ended every message with love and with X's and O's to reiterate how how light we can be on this topic, but we just need to be aware. And I was shocked because I wanted to just dive a little bit more about it. Last time I saw him was at the 10-year reunion, like 25 years ago.
Last year.
And blocked.
Blocked.
Denied.
You blocked or he blocked?
He blocked me. Computer says no.
Computer says no. Well, so this gentleman jumped in and just anything that Sheena was saying, just to give you guys paint the picture of on the Facebook post about this holistic doctor that died. Sheena just mentioned the article, and she started using language like, I can't remember exactly off the top of my head what was said. It was just anything that you said. It was just like you're challenging what's being fed to us, which is that's what we say on the radio show. And with that, this gentleman jumped on and started saying other things like, "Oh, you're wrong, you conspiracy theory," like all these things. And I just think he was a bit more of like he didn't open up his mind. And that's what I was trying to get at. Like when I invited him to see my, he didn't respond to my post, by the way.
No.
So maybe he didn't have anything to say on the response that I had.
No.
But it was diplomatic. Like I said to him, because he was mentioning universities, and I think he was mentioning studies, and doctors should be more credited. Doctors shouldn't be credited. I mean, should be credited for everything they've done. They've put in hard work, and on top of that, people with experience in a certain situation, also have an opinion. We all have opinions.
Yeah.
We all have opinions.
And there are a few comments where like holistic medicine is dangerous and modern medicine is the way to go, and it's like that's not what we're talking about here. First of all, that's not what we're talking about. Second of all, holistic medicine is a great aid to Western medicine, whatever you want to call it. We're not saying one. It's not a fight between one versus the other. It's actually opening up the holistic conversation, and this is where my passion is, because that conversation is not being opened up.
Yeah.
And that's the sweet spot of this. It's not one versus the other. It's let's bring them all in for options that anybody can choose, because everybody is different.
And this is exactly what I'm saying. This is what annoys me about the universities thing. I know a little bit off topic, but we'll bring it back. We always bring it back.
That's right.
It just frustrates me because I never went to university, and that's what I was mentioning in the post.
Yeah.
I never went to university, and I've been a fitness instructor and a personal trainer, a business owner for the last 11 years. I did mention a couple of things that I've done, like I ran a full marathon.
Yeah.
I've played 5 international test matches in rugby league for the Italian national team. I've done 1 amateur boxing fight, but I haven't been to university, and I stress that point. So does that mean I can't have an opinion on sports science? Does that mean I have to listen to everything a sports scientist said because they've been to university, and I have to bow down to a sports scientist because they've been to university? No, I've been in the industry. I've done my tenure.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
That how I can't?
Yeah, tenure is the right.
I've done my own education and built my own experience, and that's what I was trying to share with him.
That's right.
In that sense,
and that was a very good point, and I'm so glad that you brought that up. Because,
so I had you back.
Yeah, you did, but you also it's not about right, wrong. It's about opening up our minds to new ways of thinking.
Exactly
and
right.
We don't always have to. Well, anyways, we'll go down the rabbit hole on that one. But
yeah. Well, we don't have to believe what we're being fed to us all the time. I think we're allowed to question. Like that's what I was. The marathon thing that I ran. I had no previous experience of running a marathon for 41 Ks. That's 41.195 kilometers that I had to run.
Yeah.
Not only did I run it, I ran it in only 27 days preparation.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
So everyone told me leading up to that,
Yeah.
that I couldn't, you couldn't do that. No previous experience. You can't run a full marathon
Yeah.
in 27 days. 28th day I ran the marathon. So my goal was to see, not to prove anyone wrong, how I could be done. And that's what you're questioning. That's what I like about what you're questioning. It's like, how else can it be done differently?
Yeah.
You know?
And also, information changes all the time. Like things that Socrates and Einstein and even Ford, you know, when they're building these inventions, their knowledge changes as new inventions are discovered. And new inventions in the holistic community has been discovered, but yet we're not talking about it. And
exactly
that's where I want to bring the conversation, is that, you know, we all have all kinds of options, and just like leave it on that. We have all kinds of options that we should always explore. Not one is better than the other, but depending on what it is that you're facing, do your research.
Yep.
Do your research.
Exactly right. And that's what Einstein said it. And that's what I've left on this quote before. And it does confuse people. Really think about the quote, though, for people out there listening. The world we have made as a result of the level of thinking we have done thus far creates problems at the same level of thinking in which we created them. So if we've got a problem, and we've only got that level of thinking at the same level of that problem, we've got to have a new level of thinking to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's right.
So that's what Einstein says. That's why you're saying information changes all the time. That's why science changes all the time.
Yeah.
That's why holistic doctors should have a place in their own education, because they're trying to learn something as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a whole different rabbit hole, as you said. So
Yeah.
you wanted to mention someone? Is
Yeah,
that right?
well, we have the lovely Claire Halliday, who is an award-winning author, and she's written a book, Things That My Father Has Taught Me, and she was supposed to come into the studio today. She lives in Melbourne. She was supposed to be in the studio today, but we had some scheduling conflicts. But I just wanted to give her a shout out.
So what's her last name? Claire Halliday.
Claire Halliday.
Go Claire Halliday.
The Things That My Father Taught Me seems like such an interesting book. It's launched a couple of weeks before Father's Day, but what this book is an interview with well-known dads, well-known men out there talking about their fathers and their unique stories, and really storytelling of their past and their thoughts with their dads. And I don't know, I just think that is a really beautiful sentiment to write about. And she's going to be here in Sydney tomorrow in Glebe at Glebe Bookstore, and she's going to be having a chat from 3 to 4:30 with Joe Hildenbrand from Channel 10.
Okay, wow.
They're going to have a conversation, and it's going to be a book launch and talking about her book. And so there's a link that you need to sign up for that, and I'm going to include that link in this video. I'm going to share the video and help spread the news, because she's a wonderful woman. We've had a couple of chats, and I'm going to be seeing her tomorrow as well. So
that's exciting.
It's Things My Father Taught Me, and it's Claire Halliday, clairehalliday.com.au.
Awesome. I reckon it's very insightful to go down that road to see what your father was like.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great question.
Well, and it's come off the heels of what my mother has taught me. So she wrote another book, which was a huge success, and she thought it would be a great idea to talk about it from the father's standpoint.
I could talk about my dad for a lot.
Oh my God! So what is your dad? Give me one thing that John has taught you.
If you stop, you rust. And I was like, what is he talking about? But as I get older, I realise if you stop, you rust.
Yeah.
If you stop, like there's other analogies out there that happens, like a plane's on the ground, it rusts.
Yeah.
If it's in the sky, it doesn't rust.
Right. Yeah.
So that means keep moving in the direction that we're meant to be moving.
Yeah.
You know, never stop. Otherwise, we get old and we get crinky and stuff like that. So that's what he taught. One of the biggest lessons he taught me. So that's one. I could keep going.
Yeah.
He taught me how to swear.
Oh, right.
Taught me road rage, but that's the Yorkshire in. No, but in honesty, he's been very, very supportive. If we're going on the dads, he's so supportive, such a supportive man. But he's rough around the edges. Have you seen him? You've seen him, obviously.
He's so nice.
He's such
and
a lovely
caring,
man.
and
rough around the edges.
I don't see rough around the edges.
Because he's on his best behaviour.
Maybe because he's from Hull, or
yeah, exactly, from Hull. All that's what it said. So he's from a tough area of Yorkshire in England. So he's still got that mentality about it. Like
Yeah.
he's just got that tough man attitude, and he's so gentle and kind and nurturing. And you know, I owe my life to him and my mum for you know, obviously they're bringing me on this planet.
Yeah.
So he's
And they're
awesome.
huge supporters of the Liam and Sheena show.
Where are they today? They brushed us again. They're meant to be outside, but they're not
Oh.
here. So they said they might come. And when someone says they might, that's generally means it's a no. So that's all right. They're usually here every week.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for them to continue to support us.
Yeah,
on our journey.
yeah. Well, my dad has been a huge support.
Yeah, I was
going
going
to
to ask that question then. Yeah.
The things that he has taught me, I'll just probably name maybe two. He's taught me about gold, the importance of investing in gold. He's a huge supporter, and I have a lot of articles that he's written and a lot of speeches that he's written that dates back to 2000, 1999 about how well gold is going to be in the next 15, 20 years. And I took his advice, and I made some really good money because of
Did you
that.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got to invest in gold.
Yeah. So he also just teaches me about patience. Like he's such a patient person, and so I mean, my sister and I always talk about how wonderful my parents are, both my mom and dad, but my dad especially is just, everybody loves him. Everybody loves him. He can talk to anyone in the room, and just very kind and interested, very interested in everything.
Yeah. And that's you need that dad out there to be like that. Just knowing that they have your back.
Yeah.
It's just there's something about that. Just knowing that they have your back, even though they pick. Like I'm picked on because I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
Like in a good way. No, not feel sorry for me. It's a good thing. They just pick, like last night I went to dinner and dad's picking on me and saying things, but he's just such a supportive person that I know that if I call upon him, he's there. And that's the biggest message I'm going to give to my kids. Like I'm always going to be there. I'm always. If I wanted to kick the footy at the park when I was 10 years old and it was 8 o'clock at night, and the lights are still on, he'll be there until the lights are off.
Aww.
Just stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm going to do that.
Solid.
Just a solid human being.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I brought him on the show when you were gone as well.
Oh, yeah?
I said, Dad, are you going to be on the show? He goes, I don't want to come on the show. He goes, I don't know what to talk about. I go, just give me 2 minutes. In the back of my mind, I needed him for half an hour. I couldn't even get him off the mic. It was 45 minutes later. He was still on the microphone. So
something to do with this booth. It's kind of addicting. Just
it's very
looking
addicting.
At the water and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who are we bringing in today?
So Stefano, oh my goodness.
Stefano.
So I am so excited. He is an organizational psychologist.
Wow.
He's got his master's degree in that. So I don't know what that is, and I'm very interested in learning more about that. But he has been, his main passion is fitness, personal fitness, and the ketone diet, and all about that. Now, so I am a little bit confused if that's the same diet that you are also talking about, or if it's different, because he says keto, Keto, and you say ketone.
I use the supplement keto, but when I refer to ketones, that's like the little I don't know, the cells that you would have in your liver that are produced. And when you release ketones in your body, and they get released in your body, it's just like this. It's designed how we're meant to design. It's because it's played off fat stores, playing off that fasting method that I was talking about. So that's what I was referring to. If I say ketones, that's the energy that we're bringing out.
Right, okay. And that's the same thing as keto?
Keto. It's keto diet. And there's supplements that I was using with that, so it's the Keto S supplement. So I'll probably mention that. So that'll be awesome. Looking forward to that conversation. We've got a great mate of mine. He's just outside. His name's Tom Cartwright. He's just outside. Can you see him in the blue shirt out there?
Oh no!
So I saw him with his blue shirt, and then I had a blue shirt on, so I took it off.
Oh yeah, you don't want same.
Same. So he's going to be talking about. He's an NLP practitioner. He's a coach. He's mainly focused on helping people with addictions.
Yes, I know.
Very interested in having this conversation.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a funny story that Tom and I have to tell you about. When he comes on, we'll share the story.
I've got you. What do you mean? You've been in contact before me? Oh man,
it's hilarious.
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. Let's go. I like funny stories. Bring them on.
Okay,
bring them on.
So let's do a jingle. Let's get him on.
Okay, let's do a jingle. All right, let's go. I'll see you in a couple of minutes, guys.
I'm going to take these off because they're just kind of uncomfortable for me.
They might be a bit loud as well. Are they a bit loud?
No. Well, I couldn't hear you at the beginning, and then you turned up the mic.
Up.
Yeah. Oh, wait, are the mics down, actually?
No, it's all right. They're off.
Okay.
This one, I understand what you're talking about now. Remember how you were saying you had the earphones? I don't know if it's the different plug, but this one seems to be so echoey and loud.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so even
Is that one yours? That one's yours?
They're mine. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So these are my spare ones actually, because I forgot one. Jump in, man. So it's funny story, eh? Let's do this funny story. All right, cool. Didn't know you were backstabbing me. Funny stories. Hey, this is Sheena. This is Tom.
Yeah.
Good to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you.
We're live on Facebook, guys. So we're just bringing Tom in. We're not on the radio at the moment. We're just playing a song. You can download the app, Bondi Radio app, to hear us live. Otherwise, just listen in to us on Facebook Live. Okay,
Yeah.
so you
So
can see
maybe
the behind the
they'll
scenes.
know the funny story. The radio show won't, but since they're behind the scenes, we'll just tell you the funny story.
Okay,
so
cool.
Tom reaches out to me at the beginning of the week. I got your text, right? You're like, my buddy mate, you know, is coming in at 11:30, and right then and there, I kind of freaked out because Stefano is coming in at 11:30. So I went down this tangent of, I got to speak to Stefano, and I went down like having to rearrange. Meanwhile, Tom reaches out to me on Facebook, and he requests, and then he sends me a message. Yeah. Which happens a lot, right? So Tom's like introducing himself, and he's looking forward to Saturday, and I really didn't understand what that was.
And
so
Shana didn't want to borrow me.
Oh, really?
No, and I just, I didn't know how to handle that, so I just kind of like threw it under the table, and we have some connections.
Oh, really?
And he said that we had a connection, and I'm trying to figure out, like, who is this person? And we talked about this guy named Darcy. I'm like, well, I haven't really finished Darcy's book, and maybe he knows Darcy, so I'll have to just keep this really light. And then he tells me again, a couple days later, so I'm really looking forward to Saturday. And I'm like, well, what's happening
Saturday?
And then I was sitting there going, have I got the wrong week?
No. I said, are you really excited to listen to the show? I'm like, we should bring you on. I'd really like to learn about addictions. And he's like, I think I'm coming on the show. I'm like,
that's awesome. That's you got to share that.
I had no idea. I just thought he was a raving fan, Just
really?
I cannot wait for
Well, he is a raving fan.
I love that reply. I said, oh yeah, you must have just thought I was a stalker or something. And Shana just asked me, no, I just thought you were a raving fan. I was like, check this out yourself. You know
that's a good story.
And then I looked back at the text, like after we had all these other texts about the scheduling and the updating, and I'm like,
now it makes sense.
It's Tom. Okay.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you want to pull up a seat, buddy?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
You keen? Ready to go? Eager? Do you want headphones?
I'm keen.
So what with the headphone scenario, right? Yeah, of course. With the headphones, the reason why I get people to listen in with the headphones is because what happens when they start getting comfortable is they start to go back, with the mic, and it gets really echoey, and then people can only hear the background music. Yeah, right. So the headphones gets you to clear up, hear what other people are hearing and what you sound like in the mic as well. For sure. So all good. All good. Should we go into it?
Do you need this? Want this quite close, or?
Yeah. So you want to probably
has to go kind of down because it'll cut my face off if we.
Yeah. So.
And I'm the star of the show.
Of course. Yeah, we've got raving fans now, Sheena. We've got one raving fan.
My fans and air conditioners. Remember?
Yeah, my fans and air conditioners. All right, ready to go, guys. So music's playing. I'll put your mic up so as well, Sheena, because I did the intro. I don't know if you heard me do the intro. And I had the mics down.
Today?
Yeah, today.
You're the best.
Yeah.
We had to do it again.
We had to do it again.
Like last week, we had to do it again.
Well, we're getting there, guys. Yeah. We're getting there.
Look at this spot you have.
Seriously. It's gorgeous.
I'll bring us in, alright?
Yeah, Liam, I think you need to kind of bring yourself in too. Like,
hold on.
We don't want to cut you off. So, Tom, come this way a little bit, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Weekend Wellness Radio Show. This is Liam Zollo, your host. I'm with my awesome co-host, Sheena Alexandra, and our guest, Tom Cartwright. Super excited about our conversation. Are we going to share this story that I've just heard on off air? Sheena getting too big for her shoes. Is that what it is? We're both getting too big for our shoes. We had the highest rated show once, and now we think we've got raving fans.
We do have raving fans.
We do have raving fans. We've got Tom Cartwright in here. Should we share the story?
Yeah, well, Tom...
Alright, just quickly. We'll go through it.
Okay, so Tom reaches out to me at the very beginning of the week, and he friends me, and he tells me that he's really looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah.
And that we have some friends in common.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about some friend that we have in common. And
I was just trying to connect, be a professional human being.
Yeah, exactly right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly right.
Exactly. But meanwhile, this happens all the time. I get friend requests and people reaching out to me all the time. So he was just somebody else that I, responded to, and I kind of ignored the whole Saturday bit. I didn't really understand that, and I just, flogged it off as.
Who is this guy?
Who's this crazy guy?
Who's this guy? I see you say. What did you say? Oh, he didn't say that part yet. Sorry.
No. I felt this person I was connecting with just got a lot of friend requests, and I was just one of a number of 100 probably.
Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know who I am? She's Sheena Alexandra.
And
I know now.
You know now, yeah.
He just kept saying, "I'm looking forward to Saturday," and I said, "Oh, are you going to tune in?" And then I said, we should get you onto the show and talk about addiction. Because meanwhile, now I'm stalking you. Now I'm figuring out who is this person? How do I know him? Where have I met him from? And why is he so friendly with me?
And the stalking begins. The addiction of stalking begins.
Yeah. I'm at the other end of just sitting down, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to connect. I'm really excited about coming on the show. Yeah. And I'm getting the vibe. This person has no idea that I'm coming on the show. The host that will be speaking to me. So, yeah.
So please don't. And then as soon as the penny dropped, I was just like, it's Tom. It's Tom.
I knew she had no idea the minute I saw, hey, really liking what you're doing. We should get you on the show one time. And 4 days out, I said, well, I think ... I am on the show this Saturday.
Oh, that's good. That's a great story. I'm super excited that you guys made that connection. Now you're friends on Facebook.
Now we're friends.
And
I've stalked him.
You stalked him?
I had to figure it out.
Exactly right. Well, we're all stalkers.
When he said Liam Zollo, that came out of left field. I had no idea that it was that connection that was going to bring us together. And power of visualization. I wanted to talk about addiction, and here we are.
Exactly right. Here we are talking about addiction with our man Tom Cartwright. So I wanted to bring him on the show because we've had many chats together over the phone. My first ever podcast that I was bringing out from Yamba when I was living up there, it was Tom Cartwright. And then we did that fitness summit, and I asked him to come on board, and then he talked again. I just see so much value in what he talks about that I had to bring him on the show. We always have these chats as well that they just spiral down a different path of mindset, business, how's everything going. It's just one of those deep conversations that are great to have with someone. So he's so open and honest, and he's sharing as well. So and he's a mate as well, so I can't say all good things about you. So you can't say all good things. So but you're amazing.
We'll keep it to the good
awesome.
Things today.
You will keep it the good things
awesome.
today. We'll keep it the good things. So I want to share with you guys. Actually, I want you to share. What is it that you actually do? I know we're talking about mindset and addiction. So what is it that you actually do, Tom?
Yeah, look, working with young men and women that are experiencing lifestyle addictions, and I think if I can, it's really, really important to break down exactly what that is, because there is a bit of a stigma and there's this hype, and with all of that hype comes a big sense of fear that if I have an addiction, it's a big thing and nobody can know about it. Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, I think a lifestyle addiction is any repetitious behaviour that holds you back from living the life you want. Now, whether that's drugs, alcohol, gambling, or whether it's spending way too much time on social media, eating something that you don't want to be eating over and over again, the question is, am I living the life I want? And if the answer is no, okay, what one or more behaviours are holding me back? Yeah. And then you can make a conscious decision to let go of it. And if you can't let go of it, then I would say then you have an addiction to something.
Yeah, that's it. That answered my next question already, man. Because I was going to say, like, what's the difference between being, I think we all have an essence of OCD in some ways, or that addiction that we're going through. So what distinguishes that? And it's good that you mentioned the last part. If it doesn't serve me, or it doesn't serve everyone around me, then that's an addiction that's leading to a more of a negative space.
Yeah. If I can share, I had a conversation with someone this week that called me up, and they actually they admitted that they only really called me to get someone off their back that wanted to get some help for them. And at the end of the conversation, it ended up going for 45 minutes, and this beautiful woman turned around and said, wow, I actually just called for a 5-minute chat so I could call and get off the phone. And I said, look, that usually happens. And I think the reason being was I held the space for the individual in regards to sharing that you don't have any problems, you don't have any addiction until it's a problem for you, and that's simply it. We're wondering about, are we addicted, what addictions are good or bad? There's no good or bad behaviours out there. There's simply resourceful and unresourceful ways to go about 100%. Life. And look, I'm not here to share what ways are good to go about life, and if you should remove different addictions from your life. It's simply
YouTube.
It's your life.
YouTube, that's an addiction for me. I'm always on YouTube.
Can we just dive into addiction and what addiction is? I mean, it's that little voice in your head that continues to do the act that's not serving you. What is that? Like, is it an angel devil? Like, what is it? Just a reoccurring thought that you just need to break the cycle? Like, what? Can you dive into what addiction is?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what you want to know is actually the human code behind the unconscious thinking.
Yes, thank you.
So many of us that have an addiction, we get stuck at frustration, pain, sick and tired. I'm upset and making family members and myself upset. It's it's what I call surface level, and we just want these questions answered. And the only reason why we haven't moved away from an addiction is because we haven't filled the knowledge that we need to know to move forward.
Yeah.
So to answer your question there, the little voice inside your head is actually, we'll use one frame today, if that's okay, or we'll start with one frame depending on how we go for time. But it's what we call filling up our needs. Okay, so filling up our needs as a human being, and human behaviour tells us that we do have certain needs that need to be met. And look, whether we know it or not, they're going to be met. And if we're not meeting our needs in a healthy, functional way, a resourceful way, which means a way that's good for us, those around us, and Earth itself, the opposite of that would be unresourceful, which I mentioned, and the definition of that is it's unhealthy to us, those around us, or planet Earth itself.
Yeah.
So if we're not filling our needs resourcefully, our body is being starved of them, and unconsciously it's saying, give me the needs, make me feel this certain way, and before we know it, we're back doing that addiction again.
Yeah.
So it's a great question, Sheena, because once you learn what needs are actually trying to be met, you're in a position to consciously then make a decision that matches up with your unconscious mind. So what I mean by that is, how many people say, I don't want to run the addiction, let's just go with drinking. And on Friday night, they're on the beers. And Monday, it's just this cycle over and over again. So they're actually consciously saying what I want to happen, but it's not a match unconsciously because there's something, a little voice inside their head or the heart saying, go and do this, go and do this.
And how do you find out what that need is? The person that goes for the beer, that knows that they shouldn't go to the beer, what's that need? What is his need? Is it loneliness? Is it excitement that he needs? Significance,
connection, all these needs.
So we've spoken about them before, Liam, when we went through some behavioural profiling.
Definitely.
Very lightly. The frame that from human behaviour-wise we'll work with today, if it's okay, is the 6 core human needs of the body. Been around for a long time. I learned them from Anthony Robbins himself, a bit of a guru, more of a guru, in personal development. And the 6 core human needs of the body, and anybody out there that seems to go back to a behaviour and not sure why, you will be filling one or more of these needs. Now, the first core need is the need for certainty, otherwise known as comfort, safety, and security. It's knowing what's going to happen during the day. It's knowing that you can come here and you know what time you're going to be working, both of you. Knowing that you're going to be here. It's the safety and security of knowing, do I have a roof over my head? Am I getting paid? So, as much as it's needed, we need to have a bit of balance between that and the second core human need, which is the need for uncertainty, variety, adventure, challenge. It's what we call the spice of life. It's coming into this workplace knowing that you start at 11 and then you receive your uncertainty when you have a conversation with me and you have no idea what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right,
yeah, definitely.
Can I talk about the first one? What was the first?
Certainty.
The first core is certainty. And repetition. It's sometimes people find that in their addiction, because it's so repetitive, because it feels like home, because it's something that's they've been doing day in and day out. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Does that make sense?
Like, it does. Look, what happens is it begins like that, and then it just becomes what we talk about habits, and it's just a formed habit of certainty. And often someone that's running a habit that does gain so much certainty from this habit, it's where they're gaining their certainty from in life. It's like life's not going... Before I say that, what I mean is anybody that I've worked with regarding addiction, not one individual has ever sat down and after 3 or 4 sessions literally said, everything in my life is perfect besides this addiction. Not once. Okay?
So I think what happens is as well, like, I don't know if you're going to touch on this, but we always try and go for that, like what Tom said, that one need, and we want to fulfill that one desire, the one need, whatever it is. Are you going to share the other ones?
Yeah,
as well?
of course. We'll get right into it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, cool.
Beautiful. So the third core need, human need of the body, is significance. And significance, at the end of the day, means to feel like we matter and we're important in the world. It's to feel significant within ourselves. The fourth core need is connection/love. The need to feel connected to someone or something. And I say something because I know individuals that are more connected to, say, and run an addiction to make connection through, let's say, a poker machine.
Yeah.
Because it's not being filled somewhere else.
Yep.
I was going to say, sometimes that connection is the addiction. That's what they connect with. That's all they know. That's because it happens every day. So go on, keep going.
Yeah.
I just kind of like to.
Please do that. It's really interesting because you add some great value, and if I can add to that, the need for connection. Often it's what we think we're getting from our addiction. However, from my experience and from what we've learned in society and working hours and hours on human behaviour, is that it's actually blocking us from connection. Because true connection is with ourselves, and any and most forms of connection are quite a low level of connection. They're surface level of connection, and we wonder why we keep going back to it and running it harder and harder and harder. Because if it was actually giving us what we want, we would know we wouldn't be doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are the last two, Tom?
So then the last two, the fifth and sixth core needs are growth, the need to feel like we are growing, and contribution, the need to feel like we are giving back.
Yeah.
So they are the 6 core human needs of the body. Today we'll be focusing and really that's going to serve a lot of individuals out there that are struggling with different addictions. It will be the top 4 core needs. They're what we call personality needs, whereas growth and contribution, what we would call spiritual needs. And from what we've seen, it's the top 4 core needs that are being met through different addictions. We're not actually at a level to be of service and to be of contribution, because we are quite addiction and self-focused at the time.
And on that as well, like I always focus, and I think you just touched on it then, the growth and contribution. And then what happens is, I don't know if you're going to share this as well, if you focus on those, then the other 4 needs will be met. Yeah,
very well said. It's a big gap. If you're running certain addictions that are holding you back in life, there's a big jump from there to suddenly serving others and being of value. Reason being, more often than not, the need for significance is not being met. Your need to feel like you matter and are important in the world is not being met to the level that you want in other areas of your life. So your addiction is filling that. So to jump from a polar, an opposite, and then all of a sudden be of service to others. But at the end of the day, the quickest way to live a healthy, happy, resourceful, specific to you life is to aim for growth and contribution.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, aim for contribution, then for growth, and yes, the others will be looked after.
And then, and it's good that you mentioned that as well, because that is the difficulty. Like, who wants to just start growing and contributing? Like, why the hell am I going to give to charity when I'm not feeling, when I'm feeling empty in myself? So it's getting people to switch that mindset. So is there? I know we're going to focus on the top 4. How do we do that?
Yeah, of course. Well, the first thing to do is actually figure out what needs are being met.
I was just going to say, do you put somebody through a questionnaire where they fill out these questions and fill out the gaps of...
Or is it more of an intuitive thing?
Look, it's definitely conversation-based relationship coaching, so it's to figure it. But literally, as I'm talking to the viewers and the members listening right now, you will be able to figure this out and quite quickly for yourself. If you're vulnerable, which means if you are willing, you don't have to talk to anybody, but right now, if you're vulnerable to let your ego down and just ask yourself, what needs is my addiction fulfilling? And it'll either be, security, safety, comfort. It's going to be uncertainty. I'll give you a really clear example. I know an individual that has is in a career that is quite boring for them. It's the same repetitious behavior over and over, looking at a computer screen, and he wonders why on a Friday night he goes out and doesn't come home till Sunday. Now the reason being, he has way too much certainty. He's got so much certainty, and there's no spice of life during the week. The fastest way to meet your need for uncertainty is actually through drugs and alcohol, because you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly
right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yeah.
And especially in the society that we're living in now, work harder, and we just need to let off that steam. In some ways, and to have that sense of uncertainty. So that's good. Is there any other scenarios?
A really good way to look at it that we found is think about your 6 core human needs, and think about them as if they each have their own petrol tank. Okay, and as you go through life and you're driving your car, you need to fill up your petrol tank, otherwise it doesn't work well. In life, to go through, look after yourself mentally and physically, you need to fill up your petrol tank, your needs. Okay, so if variety spice of life isn't being filled, it's going to be drained so long. And this is where the difference between conscious and unconscious thinking comes in that you asked me. It's not being met so much, so then your unconscious mind makes all the decisions.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is your unconscious mind is actually it's the captain of the ship. It's the drive, like it drives you everywhere. We think we are making decisions consciously, but unless our unconscious mind matches up with that, the decisions aren't made. As you said, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow at 5 a.m. It doesn't happen. Why not?
Yeah.
You know?
It's like the conscious mind is what you're saying. Is what I'm saying is like, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg just goes under the water for ages and ages, and that's the strength of it. And that's our subconscious mind.
Yeah,
it's like 90,
absolutely.
What is it? 93% subconscious and 7% conscious, or something like that. Yeah. So, what you say could be generally a lie then. If we're based on habit,
Yeah.
because we're lying to ourselves. I'm going to the gym tomorrow, and it didn't rock up. So how do we fix that then? Or not, is it fixing, or is it more of like, how do we monitor that? And I think you mentioned something on self-awareness as well, Tom. So is it that essence of the first step to transformation is awareness? Is that what it is, or
the first step? Let's run with some quite unresourceful addictions, such as the drugs, the alcohol, the gambling, the cocaine. Things that are very common now, and there's actually a rise. I think these are only increasing, and if I can add, we from personal study and working with other coaches and all the clients that I've worked with, we tend to see that it's social media comes up a lot as a big problem at the moment. Reason being, social media is so huge these days that everybody has this device to tap into what success, happiness, or life looks like. The problem is, social media provides you with a fake reality. It provides you with what people think they should be like. So it's, sexy abs, a tight ass, making a lot of money, right? So we have this, we think we need to be this person, and it just sets ourselves up to have such a high and unrealistic expectation of who we should be like. So we end up resorting to these addictions that hold us back.
Yeah. Can I ask, for the people that are addicted to drugs and alcohol and pharmaceutical drugs, and is it more of a chemical? Like, does chemicals, external chemicals, play any role in addiction?
I'm going to answer this question with the chance of being misunderstood, but I let go of the need to disassociate what one habit or what one addiction is to the next level, because it gives somebody an excuse that, oh, maybe mine's worse. And coaching comes from the philosophy that you are whole, total, and complete to overcome any challenge that you have at the moment. Any addiction at the moment is really filling up a need, and if those needs aren't met, if you give an example, how many of us have an addiction, right? And friends or family say, "Oh, well, just don't drink on the weekend. Oh, well, just don't spend your money. Why don't you save it?"
Yeah.
Right? So that we're trying to solve our problem, but we're just solving the stuff that we already know that we can't do.
Yeah.
So we've got to solve our needs.
So it's I might have mentioned this before as well, because I did a coaching course. It was more hypnotherapy. And I mentioned on the show a couple of weeks back, and it was named Tad and Adriana James. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're a coaching couple that they taught Anthony Robbins and these specialists. And I got to sit there and watch these guys in action. And in the hypnotherapy course, they said, is it the thought that causes the chemical in the brain that causes the further negative thoughts, or is it the initial thought that causes the, is it the thought, or is it the chemical? Is it the chicken or the egg? I don't know. I don't know if it matters as much as it matters as how we can resolve that. Maybe do you think that's a fair point as well? I'm not too sure.
No.
Is it coming from external, and then it's coming from external, from the medication, for example, and then from that's causing those thoughts, that's spiraling into more addiction, or more, if it's more depression or anything like that's causing that, or is it the initial thought that's causing the chemical imbalance in the brain anyway?
Yeah.
So
I think there's a lot to do with being present as well, because addiction, if you're just in the moment and not thinking about your voids or what you don't have, and just appreciating the moment for what it is, then you're whole.
It's hard to do. It's challenging to do that, and that's why mindfulness is so popular now, because it's like it's almost focus. We need to start focusing on things, and that's what Tom brought up before as well. Like we know what we need to do, and yet still subconsciously we're doing those negative things. So
I took a metaphysical business of metaphysics and business, and in this course they said anytime you drink or you do drugs, you are abandoning yourself, because you're changing your vibration, or you're changing your true essence of who you are. And so that really hit home. Abandoning yourself when you go to these different.
If I can add to that, as you said it in a really I think simple and clear-cut way, the drugs and alcohol, these kind of addictions, all they're doing is preventing you from vulnerability and hiding. So I think you use the word masking, and that's it. So to solve a massive problem, which is, would you both agree that a lot of, let's say, drugs, alcohol, and gambling, these addictions, we feel quite alone, and that we've got to tackle it on our own, and no one should know about it. The reason being is that we feel like we're going to be judged by others. Okay, so there's a coaching methodology, I'm not too sure if you've heard about it, created by Sharon Pearson at the Coaching Institute and trademarked by them. I'm grateful that I can use it, and it creates massive shifts and massive change in overcoming lifestyle addictions, because it has 7 different levels of thinking, and it's called the Trust Me model. And each different level sums up a tribe of people who have the similar or same values and beliefs. Now we all start at the level 1, which is trust. And this is where it's almost like caveman, cavewoman type thinking. We've got our, literally, metaphorically speaking, we have our club up, and we're not trusting anyone. And we say, everyone, no, get away. I don't want any help. It's no, I don't need any help, and still at that level. So this is anybody that's in denial, obviously, of their addiction that's going on. And then we move into the second level, which is what's called relatability. Now, just so you know, everybody goes through these levels. It just depends on where you are in life at the moment. And as I'll share with you, it's the clients listening right now, or the members and the listeners right now, are actually wanting to get to level 3. And I'll share exactly how to do that. So the second level is relatability. And this is where we find our tribe, we find our community of people that think and believe very similarly to us, and therefore have very similar problems to us. And this is where we feel a little bit safe now. We can put our club down, and we found a community, and it's like safe and comfortable. It's very certainty grabbing, safe and comfortable, and it's like it's okay. Now, the unresourceful way to meet this level of relatability, very, very common, I think you might both start nodding your head, is the community, the tribe of people that go for coffee, lunch or drinks, and they moan, complain, justify why they don't have what they want, and point and blame at other people, and that person's only successful because they grew up successful, and this business is going well only because you know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever had a coffee chat or a beer with someone, and 70% of the time you were talking about stuff that isn't going well.
It's like
How often does this happen?
It's like a psychology lesson, isn't it? A counselling lesson if you go out for a beer in a way.
Yeah, just with both. It's funny that you say that. It's kind of like that, but the only problem is both the, let's say, counsellor and both the client are at level 2 or below thinkers. Now, this is really important, because what I heard you say earlier was about the level of thinking you have now caused the problem, won't solve the problem. Did you remember saying that?
Albert Einstein. The level of thinking we've done as a result. The world we've created as the level of thinking we've done thus far creates problems at the same level of thinking which created them. We need a new level of thinking.
So I'm happy to solve that problem right now if I can.
Go, man, go.
So we hear that we go from trust into relatability. Because we're quite justifying and blaming, and in level 2 we're quite, look, I'm going to be really honest, and sometimes I'm taken a little bit harshly, but change isn't found in comfort, change is about hearing the truth. If that's okay. Which is uncomfortable, and it's embracing the unknown, embracing uncertainty, so it's hearing stuff you probably don't want to hear. But in level 2 thinking, it's very judgmental. And now someone that's listening right now saying, I have an addiction, but I think I feel like I need to do it on my own, and I'm feeling alone, is because to get to level 3 is what we call uniqueness. And to get to level 3, our unconscious mind is thinking and believing that if we step away from the relatable tribe, we're going to be judged. And it's we only think that because we know we were judging everyone that was in when we're doing drugs and alcohol and it's the fad, we point at the other people that don't do it.
Yeah,
or we're like,
exactly
why don't you come into the pokey room? Like, come on, we could just get $50 out. And if they don't, it's like, oh, how many times do you go to the pub and someone's like, do you want a beer?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm drinking. And it's like that manipulation.
Yeah.
That really, at the end of the day, is being judged.
That becomes some people and some mates of mine. That becomes their main focus of the night to get me drinking. If I'm not drinking, that's it. That's my focus. You've got to have a beer in the
Great example. The relatable tribe. They think and believe the same values. They're after certainty. They're after do it my way. This is the really key importance. Level 3 is uniqueness, and it's my absolute passion as a coach to move clients from level 1 and 2 into level 3, because level 3 is the first time in your life when you stand on your 2 feet and you say, my life will not be determined by the relatable tribe's insecurities. Okay? Uniqueness is without fear of judgment or anything, being handed a beer and a whole group of guys getting around you and saying, have a beer, and just you simply saying, not up for it. And that is a very, very, what we've seen, hard thing to come by.
Oh, definitely. I've failed
after
in that.
time, it gets really, really super simple.
Yeah.
After time, there's some addictions that I've quit, and I end up looking at that person being so thankful I'm not in those shoes, I'm so far beyond that. And I was going to touch upon 2 things. When you're talking about community, have you heard of Hello Sunday Morning?
Not yet.
Hello Sunday Morning is brilliant. It's a place where you can detox from alcohol for 3 months or 12 months, and it's just a way to just start the conversation about how big the beer and alcohol society is in Sydney and Australia and globally as well. So it's kind of like a Facebook for alcoholics. You go and you challenge yourself, and I've used this tool on 2 occasions to quit drinking for 3 months. I mean, I've never had a problem, but just to clean myself and and to have that support of people going through the same thing and being able to open up and to talk about it, it's so much easier to do it with strangers almost than it is to do it with your friends. So HelloSundayMorning.org is a great resource.
What I'm hearing just there was a great example of moving through into uniqueness, because there is a tribe of uniqueness. It's just the tribe that are taking much more responsibility for their lives. So the reason why support and community is so beneficial, the thing is, often we're at relatability and we say, oh, we've got friends and they're helping me and stuff. Those friends and family members and people that that are helping you are at level 2 thinkers. They're not. They say they want the best for you. And they do. They really do want the best for you. But if they are at level 2 thinking, that's not where you need to be. Now, you have to back yourself enough to get to uniqueness, to stand out from the crowd, to be different, to know that you're being different and doing something different. Is a large, we found a large percentage of the population, more so than none, never really moved past level 1 and 2. Okay, and there's still another 4 levels to go. We haven't even gotten into them yet.
Wow.
But uniqueness is really where you need to get to. Now, the 2 steps, if I can share, to get there.
Definitely.
All right. So to move out of trust, if no one's on your team, you don't have a support network, you haven't really told many people, you think that you've got an addiction going on, but you're not really sure. The first step is being vulnerable. Okay, it's being truthful. It's opening up to someone, and whether it's listening to this, wellness radio show every Saturday for a bit, then that's the start. That's great. Who have you spoken to? Who have you actually let know that you're not happy with the problem? Now, I will repeat, a lot of these lifestyle addictions, we grow up into. So as you talked about alcohol in Australia, how big it is, and the thing is, when we're running the addiction and when we love it, often it actually becomes part of our identity, and we stand behind it, and we drink, and we say, look how much I can drink, or who wants shots, oh, I had a whole, a jug of beer, all of these things. So when 5-10 years down the track and you're in 20-30 grand of debt, and that you're ruining relationships, that's when you realize, oh, maybe it's not that good. But to go back on what you stood for so long is so hard, and that's what vulnerability is being. It's realizing that your past doesn't equal your future. You can change your mind and change your choices whenever you want, and you don't have to be limited by the tribe's insecurities. So vulnerability is number 1. Moving from level 2 to level 3, which is uniqueness, which is where the beginning of all your success is going to come, is by taking a whole heap of responsibility. And why we still have the excuse that an addiction is holding us back, it's not 100% responsibility yet.
Yeah, definitely. And I love those. And to put it into context as well, it's not that the tribe, if everyone's listening, not that tribe's bad.
No.
What I've learned is a simple technique on how to outsmart myself. It's not to hang out with the tribe in that one spot where I know that I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. There's this little story, this analogy or story, whatever it is. A guy walks down the street, falls in a hole. He's in his suit and tie. He's walking down, he wants to walk down George Street. Sees George Street, that's the way to work, with his briefcase in, and falls in a hole. Steps in a puddle, falls in it. Damn it, work my new shoes, all that stuff. Goes in the next day, goes, there's George Street there. I think something happened bad yesterday, but I'm going to walk down that street anyway. Falls in a hole. Third day goes, I know I'm going to fall in that hole, but I'm going to go down that road anyway. Falls in the hole. Knew he was going to do it, falls in the hole. Fourth day, what does he do? Looks down George Street, walks away from George Street and goes another path. Right. So it's about knowing with the tribe, it's not like, I'm going to delete all my friends off Facebook, or I'm going to get rid of you all because you're all bad influences on me. It's like, no, I'm going to hang out with those people in other situations that are going to serve me best, where I can have those vulnerability conversations. And if they don't want to have those vulnerability conversations, then we move on. So it's outsmarting yourself. Yeah.
One of the biggest, just to add on to that, it's amazing, thank you for sharing that, really well said.
No worries.
One of the really scary things when we talk about identity, especially if drinking, drugs or gambling was part of our identity once, and it still is, but we don't really want it, is definitely that moving through the levels can never be about judging or blaming. So when we talk about getting to level 3, 100% responsibility is also not turning around saying, well, I'll delete all my friends, because that's actually saying something outside of yourself is causing the problem. Now, by changing your environment, where you live, who you spend your time with, whether you put a lock on your bank account, changing things outside of yourself will get you some certain results. They'll be short, and that'll be about it. The true change is what we talked about earlier, which is meeting your needs. And just to remind you, it's one frame. These are 2 frames now, coaching frames that we've talked about from a large list. But as you said, it's not about judging or blaming, because if you think you're moving to level 3 and you're still judging and saying, oh, but it's because my family were drinkers or gamblers or because of my friends, well, then you're actually not. You're still at level 2 thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
It's being vulnerable, taking 100% responsibility, and saying no matter what is going on around and outside me, I make a decision.
The responsibility thing, I've been thinking about this week. It's funny you brought that word up, because I've been wanting to speak about that word. People say that in context that it's a bad thing to be able to have responsibility. If you break that word down, it's actually split into 2 words, respond and ability. If you flip those around, what do you get? The ability to respond. And that's what that means, so that's what it means. So is that the smartest thing I ever said then? Can we get that on record?
Not the smartest, but that was really good.
Cut that down. I'm leaving. This is a drop the mic situation. Drop the mic. So but that's true. Like, I learned that from a workshop that I went on a couple of times. So that is stolen. So, but it brings back into context that I've even been thinking about it. Like, I've got to take responsibility myself, and I started thinking about that as a negative thing. I'm like, no. You have the ability to respond. And that's what it means. And then when you touched on as well, when you say no, there's something in that. That's when you take the ownership. That's when I think that when you have that uniqueness. Because you've always said yes, and that's fulfilling that addiction. But then when you go no, and you say no, this is where the line's in the sand now. No, that's when I reckon you can go to level 3. Personally, simple way.
Look, it is really well said.
Easy said than no.
Something I want to add. The whole no, saying no to others can be very, very tough. As you know, the framework and the code now, right? The code is be like we shouldn't. I'm going to say it anyway. Thanks. People pleasing, doing all the tribe's insecure. If I do this, I won't do it. Saying no can sound really hard. I see a lot of change with personal clients when we flip that from you're not saying no to others, you're saying yes to yourself.
Yeah,
and that one mindset shift actually does create a lot of change, because you're putting yourself first. And we grow up in a world where often we learn, put others before yourself. And if you're in a place of unresourceful gambling, drinking, drug addictions, to be honest, you need to put yourself first for a certain period of time until you can give back, because you gave back so much that you feel starved of significance. You really don't have anything. I shouldn't say you don't have anything to give, but you got to look after yourself. You got to look after yourself and put yourself first.
If you're looking at that though, I know you want to say something. If you're looking at that from that perspective, you're saying yes to yourself and no to others. what is that need? Isn't that growth? Isn't that the essence of growth? I mean, what's the main two, growth and contribution, which is the main two, well, not so much contribution, it's growth mindset. And then with that mindset, that's when you start fulfilling the other needs. You know?
It's huge significance as well. To put yourself first is to actually, and it's repetitious behavior, as you said, like you train yourself to overcome these things. It's repetitious behavior to start saying, I'm worth it. I'm worth saying yes. I'm worth not going to the pub. I'm worth feeling good in the morning.
I think that is the hardest part of addiction, because being addicted isn't easy, but once you've come through it, every person that I know that has either quit alcohol or quit drugs or quit whatever, they are happy. They are genuinely happy and fulfilled. And it's almost like, it feels like it's a big mountain, but once you get there and you look back, it actually wasn't that hard. So can you give people who are maybe thinking about quitting some simple tools to get through what you were just talking about, changing your mindset on a daily basis to get to the point where you're feeling good, you're feeling...
Yeah, of course. Let's go just to what I was saying earlier, vulnerability. So how do you actually do that, okay? Right now, do you have 1, 2 or 3? You can start with one if you like, 1, 2 or 3 people in your support network that actually know what's going on for you, that know that it's a problem, that know that you don't like this addiction anymore. If not, that's the first step, okay? Because as we shared earlier, what you know already has given you the reality that you already know. So it's time really to educate. It's time to educate yourself. And by having someone that you're vulnerable with and that knows what's going on, that's the first step, because you're just opening up your self-trust barriers that you have a little bit more. And from that, the next thing is to, okay, what tool, resource or action step can I put in place right now? Okay, who, if I'm starting to trust a little bit, who can help me solve this what is a huge problem right now? And there's so many tools and resources. You know, we're talking about the specific addictions around drugs, alcohol, and gambling. We'll go with that. We know that there's, you know, we can go to rehab centers and 3-week courses. We know that there's counselors. We know there's psychologists. We know that there's a heap of coaches out there. It's all there. It's just about finding when are you taking responsibility, and you know that you are going to invest in creating change. Okay, and it's about embracing uncertainty. Because right now your addiction gives you a whole heap of certainty and
comfort
and safety, and at the end of the day it's unresourcefully meeting your uncertainty, because the way to meet uncertainty is actually drama. And drama is being hungover. Drama is fighting in relationships. Drama is calling Commonwealth Bank and trying to say, oh, can you give me an extra loan? Like, can you do this? It's all drama.
It's all ego too. It's
exactly
all ego.
right.
Once you take that away, you just become present. It goes away.
Definitely.
One of the things you said was that everybody you've met that's overcome a certain lifestyle addiction feels great about themselves. This is what's, now that I've kind of been given permission, if we can go into level 4 of the Trust Me model.
Go, man.
Yeah, awesome. So once we get to uniqueness, we're embracing uncertainty a bit, we're taking responsibility, and we kind of, it's scary, but it's a bit of fun, and we know, wow, I can actually do this.
You start to feel good. You start to feel it.
Yeah, so then we get into level 4, which is what's called sustainability, okay, and it's structure. And it's going, this is what I need to do to break the habit. So I need to speak to my coach, for example, and then I need to do the exercise. Then on Friday night, I remove myself from that tribe and I go to this tribe. Because you don't have to just, one of the big scary things is, oh, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my identity if I stop drinking or gambling or doing drugs. I'm going to lose everything. Well, to help you out, a really key step is to, why don't you gain something? Which is what you're doing by tapping into, let's say, a coach. You're tapping into saying, I've got someone else in my network. I've got a whole heap of unresourceful that might not be helping too much, then I've got a coach. And then maybe that coach will put you in contact with a group. And then maybe you'll do that group that you were talking about.
Hello
every
Sunday morning.
So, and you just start moving, and it's a really big, it's a big identity shift, but over real, much smaller and implementable steps. And this is where your structure's formed. Now after structure, you actually start to get a little bit excited about who you actually are and what you can achieve. And you get into the 5th level is what's called tenacity. And that's where you're standing on your own 2 feet and you actually go, bring on the, insert emotional language here, bring on the problems.
Bring on the effing problems.
Bring on the effing problems.
Effing. I've missed a couple of letters out there. So that's
bring on the effing problems. And it's this is actually where probably for the first time in your life, your character is built.
Yeah.
Because your character isn't built when everything's going and you're doing the drugs and the alcohol. Your character's not built then. Your character is built in tenacity. When you say, bring me the problem, watch me handle it. Watch me go to a gaming room, stand there for 10 minutes, look at it, and not put $50 in. And you'll walk down another one, you'll go, I can do it again. Watch me go to a party or a wedding or an engagement and or an 18th or whatever it is. Watch me go there and spend 10 minutes there and then leave because I'm a bit fearful. And watch me go to the next one and spend half an hour there. And you just start asking for it. And you're going, I'm in control. I've got this. Oh my, what's going on? And tenacity.
Yeah.
And you really just bring it in. Your character's built. That's when you start developing. You realize you have so much strength. You know how much you are embracing uncertainty.
And I was going to say, by that time, if you were addicted to drugs and alcohol, you probably are feeling clear and energetic. Can I ask, for the people that are addicted to porn or gambling, is there a withdrawal period that you go through? You know, you have a detox period with drugs and alcohol, but is there a physical withdrawal period for any of the mental you're shopping, gambling, porn, whatever it is?
I would answer that question with the best that I know so far, and that would be, it really is each individual. There's no compartment for someone with an addiction to fit in here. I wouldn't say. There's no compartment. This is for you. This is what's going to happen. I'll give you an example. I worked, with a client, and 8 weeks later, never touched a drop of alcohol again. But then I've worked with another client, let's say, as you asked, gambling, who it's been 6 months, and they're 2 months off paying off 15 years worth of gambling debt for the first time in their life. But this is really important because it's something you brought up before. It's at the end of the day, and I think it's what you mentioned on. Yes, we're excited about solving the problem at hand, which is letting go of the addiction. But what really, really gets me going is the feedback that, and I heard this last week off this client with gambling, Tom, it's great that I'm paying off all my debt, but I've just realised that it was never about the money. So it's about the needs, because the client is finding needs somewhere else. So it's a slower journey in actually moving from here to here, because if you just remove the problem, another problem will surface somewhere else. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does, absolutely.
Yeah. So it is individual, it's for each individual. And I think it's really important. I'm going to share a definition or something that's going to really help if you want to take it on. But success is personal, so don't compare yourself to others.
Exactly right.
Because Jack got help with his addiction and stopped in a week. And it doesn't work for you. That's okay. It's it's for each individual. If you quit for pokies for 6 months and then you go back and you drop $1,500 in there, it's okay. Keep showing up. Your job in life is to show up, to tap into the resources. Keep showing up. You've got this.
I heard a good quote: "Never quit quitting."
Never quit quitting.
Well said. Well said.
And it's actually. This mindset, I don't know if you know much about stoicism or stoic mindset. It's very stoic mindsets.
I have a book on stoicism.
Talking about my YouTube addiction has actually been feeding my stoicism knowledge now. So I think my YouTube addiction is actually, not a bad thing in a way. It's serving me. And I think it's also about, it's very commando-like if you really look at it. There's an essence of, because I spent some time with some commandos. I spent about 60 hours with them, and we didn't sleep for 60 hours. And I was part of the South Sydney Rabbitohs when I was a rehab conditioning coach, and they put us through hell. I mean, you don't have to go through this process to realise what we're learning. You can get a coach like Tom that can do that in that sense. But we had to go through it physically. And what they did is they broke us down, because with no sleep, pushing us to our absolute limit. Climbing. Carrying a truck, which was like 5-10 ton truck with 20 of us at like 1 in the morning, and then jumping in and doing like a kilometre worth of swimming, and then 3 in the morning jumping up and doing a 10k run, and then after the 10k run doing a Tough Mudder style thing, and it just kept going and going and going and going. Anyway, what am I talking about? Gets to the end of the 60-hour commando camp, and the commando comes up to us and goes, we didn't even know this guy was actually the lead commando, and he goes, I'm a clinical psychologist and I'm the guy who wrote this course, and we put you through hell. We swore at you, we did everything, and we realised that we've done immense testing on this, and they say the only way to show true character and gain character within yourself, and you mentioned that word character, is to overcome adversity and stress and pain. You need to overcome that pain. You need to go through the pain. Like we went to it physically. I mean, I was on the verge of tears, and I didn't even need to be there. I was part of the staff, but I chose to be there, and I chose to be in that because I wanted to see what they felt. I want to feel what they felt, and when we literally built walls about the size of us with sandbags. We had to fill the sandbags, tie the sandbags, fill it up, and then what would happen? The commander would come down. He goes, "I want the wall this tall." We'll build a wall this tall because it was like a bunker. What did they do? All the commandos, after we built the wall, knocked it straight down, built it again, boys. And this is like 5 a.m. And then boom, 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 boom. We had to go through that process. Now, you don't have to go through that physical, mental torture, but it is quite, it is quite commando and stoicism in a way, because it's taking ownership of yourself and realising that in order to overcome this, in order to show my true character and build strength through character, I've got to overcome this adversity and stress.
Yeah, well said. If anybody wants the key, the 2 words to doing that, that's what we like to call delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification. That's where we get the instant gratification through the social media, isn't that right? So yeah, it's great. It's great.
So
what you just said then.
Yeah, go. No, you go.
You're too kind and just butt in and say what you want to say. Swear and say what you want to say, right?
When you say that's where we get the instant gratification, social media, really big one, right? Instantly feel connected with someone, because going out, having a coffee, setting dates is delayed. Instantly. So connection, a lot of people meeting their need for connection on social media, but then at the end of the day, or when they get in bed, or at the end of the week, they feel a little bit alone. There's not someone, anyone that's, let's say, wanting to move forward in relationships. Where are you getting your connection from? Because do you know what I mean? But it's just not as resourceful to you. So how can you feel that need of connection resourcefully?
Exactly right. I love it.
So I was going to actually ask, so Tom, do you teach about addiction, or do you counsel people through addiction, or what is it? Because I thought you were also going to talk about NLP, and I wish we can have
we could have another conversation. We're going over time. We've got to bring Stefan.
I think I'm really glad we talked about this topic. I think it's really important that we're talking about this topic, and we're going to invite Tom back in to talk 100%. more. But just about your coaching, is it coaching for addiction, or is it all kinds of coaching, or what kind of services do you offer?
Yeah, of course. I'll answer a couple of the questions that were in there. One, yes, I am a coach. I'm a specialist in human behaviour and personal development, and I'm predominantly working with men and women who are experiencing lifestyle addictions, which, as we've shared, can cause an array of problems. Reason being 2 things: skill set, and the next one, which is actually even more important, I believe, which is passion. Zollo knows my story, and I like to make it about the viewers, but if you want to know my story, and you shared a bit about yours, it took me 16 months to finally let go of drinking and gambling addictions. And I think that's the key. One of the things or reasons why a lot of individuals like speaking to me and clients love working with me is because I am very human and I'm very realistic, and we have a very deep level of relatability, which I think is really important. So you
never quit quitting.
Never quit quitting.
Yeah. So look, it took a long time, and there was a lot of setbacks.
Yeah.
But as I shared with you before, when you get to level tenacity, and I remember getting to tenacity. Do you want a quick example?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think I'm talking about vulnerability, so I'm always I like to walk the walk. And before I let go of those addictions, I didn't actually coach and pay 1 hour of paid coaching, even though I was accredited and ready to go, because I believe so much in walking the walk and actually being the example that you want to see in others. Got to uniqueness, said, I'm going to let go of addictions, I'm going to become a coach. I was like feeling a bit fearful, and I'm like, I'm different. Started going out, mates would say, why don't you drink? Stop being a little this, that, and all the rest that you were talking about. And I was like, no, I'm not. And tenacity, the example is, I remember I still had that need to go, but I was starting to beat it, and I thought, how can I truly prove to myself that I don't need a drink in my hand to be comfortable, right, to overcome the anxiety. So I planned a trip with 8 guys to take them away for a 2-3 day weekend, which was about all partying, drinking, drugs, and I didn't touch anything. And I drove every night. And I got home, and this is the key. It's so much, yes, it's about solving a problem of addiction now, but when a client or someone turns around and says, it has been so much more than that. It is about me feeling like I am effing unstoppable. And that's what we see. So look.
And you start to realize that time just passes. Like, it doesn't matter if you drink or do drugs or not. time's just going to pass.
Yeah.
Morning's going to come. You're
Yeah.
going to have a clear head in the morning. The guys aren't.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
You just
yeah.
start to be. You handle
Yeah.
time. You just handle time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you trust that life is going to continue. And this 2-3 hours or 10 hours, depending on what you're part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've got that's
Will end. It will end.
Yeah.
And
to answer your question with coaching, like really quickly, and this isn't the important part. The important part is: are you ready to step up? Are you ready to take responsibility? Are you in a position to finally say no to a heap of problems? And if you are, then yes, you can start working with a coach. Coaching is a conversation-based relationship where we rule out, we draw a line in the sand as opposed to, let's say, traditional type of therapy. And I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach. We draw a line in the sand and say, where do you want to go? Let's say, I want to live a life, without alcohol. If that's it, we get you there really, really quickly. And what you mentioned earlier, which was NLP.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, neuro standing for the mind, linguistic standing for language, and programming. It's what I think a very good definition is the study of the excellence. It's a communication model to figure out exactly how we communicate and how we can reprogram quite quickly. If I can add, I'm actually trained in metadynamics, which as opposed to NLP, which incorporates a lot of NLP, but it was created by the Coaching Institute, and they use a framework called the Critical Alignment Model, which is actually the only research-based proven methodology. There's only 3 to 5, off the top of my head, 300 to 500 coaches trained in that, as opposed to tens of thousands in NLP. So I just want to let you know that that's actually it, as opposed to NLP. It's metadynamics. And look, this is a skill set. As I said, it's a communication model to break down unconsciously how are you thinking, and then how do you change that thinking. And that's what you want to invest in a coach for, to know you invest to get the how. You bring the why. You bring the I'm sick of the debt, I'm sick of the relationship breakdowns, and all of that. And then your coach will give you the how. Okay, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to get there.
And so what, do you work with them on a weekly basis or a monthly basis? Are there groups?
It's all one-on-one, either over the phone and face-to-face. Face-to-face is good, however, actually 70% of my clients are all over Australia. So it's Skype and over the phone. Exact same results we've seen come in over the last 4 years, which is great. Look, it's one-on-one. It's an hour conversation, give or take, maybe a little bit longer if I'm educating. Like today I was educating. So it's about educating someone for them to finally have reason and meaning to why they have their addiction, and then helping them coaching, unconscious thinking, using all your tools, hypnotherapy, NLP, metadynamics, all these different models to get you there.
Awesome. Last question then, where can we find you?
Look, to be honest, as I said, I'm human. As you can probably tell from today, very vulnerable.
No way.
Very
open.
stalkable.
Very stalkable. People stalk me. No, look,
Stalkers.
Jump on Facebook and add me. It's Tom Cartwright, CARTWRIGHT. Shoot me a private message, or once you even, accept and we're connected on Facebook, you'll hear from me. I'll probably touch base.
He's very friendly. He's first hand tell you.
And I'm used to a bit of rejection from Sheena here. Like, I'm too busy.
Who's raving fan now?
I'm his raving fan.
I reckon you're both each other's raving fan.
This has been really a great conversation.
Great conversation.
You.
Thank you
we'll
so
bring you
much.
back on too, because I feel like there's more to talk about.
Definitely more to talk about, because I want to talk about the addiction of emotion, the motion addiction, of anxiety, of feeling certain ways. So there's another topic for another day.
Look forward to that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Tom Cartwright. We're going to be bringing in Stefano in about 2 minutes, guys. So stay tuned. And we'll be back on the Weekend Wellness Radio Show. Stay
Give it a
tuned.
jingle.
Thanks for having me,
Give it a jingle.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'm going to turn off the Facebook Live. And
that was awesome.
Hey!
Thanks for being with us, guys.
I forgot that we're on Facebook Live.
we're
Hey,
still
go on,
going.
guys. I didn't know Jamie was here. How are you? Good, thank you. No way.
We do one more photo.
That's Jamie. That's Jamie, Tom's wife.
Wife now.
I'm say partner.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. It's all right. Yay! Thanks, man.
Thanks, mate. Great.
Right, that was awesome. That was the best one we've done together.
Oh, great.
It gets better and better every time we chat, hey?
Of course.
Mate, thanks so much, hey? But we'll definitely get you back.